Hey, this is Candid at the Movies. I'm Maxtan. I'm here to review Squid Game Season 3. Squid Game Season 3 is now streaming on Netflix. It came out in one big chunk, so you can just watch it at your own leisure. Starring these people, a lot of names. I can't say these people's names, so I'm just going to give you the ideals. Travis, if you could put the names right here, that would be great. You have player 456. You also have the front man, his brother, along with player 333, player 222, player 011, player 246, and so on and so forth. I enjoyed this season. Now, there are things that I didn't enjoy, and we'll talk about that in a little. So, some of the stuff that I enjoyed. Oh, before I forget, there is a warning I like to put in front of this. If you do not like kids or babies being put in a very dangerous situation that will cause a lot of uncomfortability, I suggest that you don't watch it. If you don't want a baby that has to make decisions, and if you watch it, you'll understand, then you probably need to give this a pass. There is some animal stuff that goes on, but it's not as serious as the baby. Okay, let's talk about things I really did enjoy. I feel like this is better gore than the first season. The first season had some really cool games and some really cool ideals. This third season, the games, the gore was really top notch. The story, I appreciated the story this time. The story was very interesting. It kept me entertained and locked in throughout the whole entire process. If you watched the first season, when you went off the island, it was very, you kind of didn't care. This season, up until the very last episode, there's being going off the island and being on the island felt the same way. It could be that the story was very island adjacent when we went off the island, or let's see. But I really enjoyed all that until the very end. The stories being told were very emotionally draining, but very emotionally pleasing. I felt the deaths, the end of the characters was done really well. I felt that was justified. If they were being weak, there was a weak ending. If they were being lucky, there was an unlucky moment. If they made decisions that felt like it led to their untimely demise. There's a certain episode when you get done with the episode, it's just gonna break your heart because the decision that had to be made, it was one for one. The choice that person had to make would break your heart, and then that kind of cascades the rest of the story and creates awesome moments. Things that I didn't really like, the ending I felt was a very long coda. I know they were trying to tie in loose ends, but this kept going and going. I was like, y'all could have finished this 15 minutes ago. I would have been fine. The baby was a serious MacGuffin. Getting there, you have to kind of, what's the word? You kind of have to just let go of reality for it to make sense. And I don't know. I feel like you could have got away without using the baby to create the rest of the story, but it had to happen. There were some other parts where you're like, okay, I don't know if that was the right decision, but overall, I had such a great time with it. I recommend, unless you don't like babies being put in very dangerous situations, that you go and watch this TV series. It's only about 6 hours. All the episodes were under an hour, so it's not as if you're going to be doing a long process. I would give it an A-. The ending was a little long to the tooth, along with the ideal of using that MacGuffin to create a better story. The English people, they were there in the third and at the end of the TV series, but it wasn't as serious. Now, if we would have put this together like they initially wanted to, with season 2 and season 3, make it into one big old season, I don't know how I would have felt, because I did not like season 2. Season 2 was very long, very boring. But with it being by its own self and the way that the story progressed, it was just such a great time. Leave a comment if you believe that you would be able to hang out and do Squid Games. Share and like this wonderful video. I hope you have a great day. I'm out.